Chairman's muted.
That's a good habit to do, right? To mute yourself. Anyway, I'd like to call this meeting to order at 10:56. And can you confirm that the recording has started?
Yes, Chairman, the recording is running.
All right. Do we have any disclosures for conflicts of interest?
We're just telling General Counsel no disclosures today. However, I would recommend doing a roll call before we proceed any further.
All right, Ms. Mendoza, can you initiate the roll call?
Will do, Mr. Chairman. David Beckham,
Present.
Ted Cook. He is present online. I'll
Here.
come back.
I'm here.
Thank you. Buchanan Davis.
I'm present.
Thank you. Patrice Horseman. Pete Kim.
Here.
Thank you. Richard Lunt.
Present.
Thank you. Sue Montgomery.
Here.
Thank you. Tim Tomure.
Here.
Thank you. And Jonathan Lyons.
Here.
Okay, Chairman Lyons' quorum is confirmed. Now calling on non-voting members. Tom Bushatsky.
Colin Wogenstall in place of Tom Bushatsky. Thank you.
Thank you. Ray DeCiccio. Gail Griffin.
Present online.
Thank you. Sina Kerr. Lauren Kuby. Karen Peters. Robin Saeed. TJ Shope.
I am present online.
Thank you. Stephanie Stahl Hamilton.
Present online.
Thank you. And Sandra Watson. Chairman, roll call is complete.
Thank you, Ms. Mendoza. We have two new appointees. We have Lauren Kuby. I don't see her online. And we also have TJ Shope, the Honorable TJ Shope. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Well, yeah, thanks, Jonathan. Mr. Chair, TJ Shope, State Senator from Legislative District 16, just beginning my 13th session at the Capitol, and serve as the President Pro Tem of the Senate, as well as the Chairman of the Natural Resources Committee. Looking forward to joining you all and keep tabs on the good work that you're doing. And I don't know, I won't speak for Senator Kuby, but I know that she was in committee just on my screen a few minutes ago, so she may be joining us later.
Thank you, TJ, and welcome.
You bet.
For the record, please remember to identify yourself when making a motion or requesting to speak. And for those attending virtually, which all of us are, please ensure you are unmuted for any votes. In addition, if any board member wishes to depart the meeting at any time, please announce your departure for recorded meeting minutes. Additionally, with sensitivity of the microphones, please speak clearly. And I'm modifying this a little bit from our regular verbiage since we don't have microphones on the desk. We don't have any disclosures of conflicts, so we're going to go directly to the director's report and turn the time over to Chelsea McGuire, interim director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and apologies and thank you for your flexibility. I really promise we did try to give you a break in January, but a couple of things did pop up, and so we appreciate you being willing to jump on and hopefully make this a quick meeting. I do want to share a couple of administrative items that you may be interested in. First is that our move into the new building is nearly complete. AV equipment install is actually underway as we speak, and it'll be done by the end of the month. So we are very excited that for the next board meeting, it will be in person in our new offices, exactly as we've been trying to do for about a year now. So very much appreciate your patience with that too, but we are super excited that that is almost done. The search for a new grants coordinator is still underway. Just to give you an update there, we are looking to hire some temporary help in the meantime to give the projects team some additional bandwidth. Lindsay will explain more about where some of that funding will come from in agenda item 5, but did want you to know that we are still working quickly and as quickly as we can to fill that spot. Finally, the most substantive update regarding the solicitation for procurement under the Long-Term Water Augmentation Fund. On Friday of last week, I directed our procurement officer to approve amendment number 3 to the solicitation. This amendment was administrative in nature, a few changes to section references, some clarification of terms and definitions, and some answers to questions that have been submitted through the procurement portal by potential proposers. I did want to draw attention, however, to one particular change made in amendment number 3, which is the extension of the deadline for the initial qualifications submittal. Originally, that deadline was set for January 16th, which is tomorrow. Because we did anticipate the need to have this meeting to discuss a potential amendment, we believed it would be prudent to just go ahead and extend that deadline. It was more fair to our proposers that way. So we did extend that deadline to February 6th. Each of the subsequent deadlines in the solicitation have also been extended accordingly. That new schedule is available both in the solicitation document that's on our landing page and on the procurement portal. And it's also a standalone document on the landing page as well. That's all I have. Joe is going to discuss more detail of why we are having this meeting, at least regarding the long-term solicitation, in a few moments. But with that, I'm happy to answer any questions from board members.
Thank you, Chelsea. Any questions for Chelsea? All right, if not, we'll go to agenda item number 4, the long-term water augmentation solicitation for procurement and the amendment, and Joe will lead the discussion.
Thank you, Chairman Lyons. Joe Satelli, General Counsel. When the board approved the solicitation for procurement, the board also passed a resolution authorizing WIFA's director to approve and issue amendments for the solicitation as necessary. You've already heard from Interim Director Chelsea considering the amendment number 3 that was previously issued. WIFA staff did commit, however, to bringing significant substantive amendments for review by the committee, Long-Term Water Augmentation Committee, and then subsequently by the board. During the procurement process, WIFA received several questions concerning the minimum qualification criteria needed to respond to the solicitation. We did present this issue to the Long-Term Water Augmentation Committee earlier today, and the committee voted to recommend that staff prepare an amendment consistent with their discussions in executive session. With the committee's recommendation, staff is prepared to brief this agenda for the full board. Because this conversation will concern a potential amendment to the solicitation and it is subject to the limited confidentiality protections, which also govern the development process for the solicitation itself. Therefore, in order for the committee to more fully discuss the matters, and as part of the confidential solicitation drafting process, I would recommend you enter into executive session under ARS 38-431.03A2 to discuss confidential information, and under ARS 38-431.03A3 to receive legal advice concerning the same. Happy to answer any questions. And Chairman Lyons, I think you're muted again.
Thank you, Joe. Do we have any questions for Joe? Do we have a motion to enter into executive session?
This is Tim, so moved.
We have a second?
This is Pete Kim, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll adjourn into executive session. Chelsea, if you can, and Garrett, if you can please facilitate that.
Absolutely. So board members, you should have received a separate calendar invite and email with a Teams link, not a Zoom link, but a Teams link. What you can do now is exit the Zoom meeting, go enter onto that Teams link, and then we will see you in a different room. If you have any issues with that, please send me an email or a text, and we will make sure that that link is sent directly to you.
So we have quorum and everyone is back in session.
Ms. Mendoza, when we get back into, we'll take roll call again just to make sure.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Got 20 people on. Looks like we have most of the board here. It is now 11:24. We're back in regular session. Ms. Mendoza, would you please call the roll?
Yes, I can. Can I confirm the recording's been started?
Garrett, can you confirm the recording has started?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Mendoza, please proceed.
Thank you. David Beckham,
Present.
Ted Cook,
Here.
Buchanan Davis,
Present.
Patrice Horseman, Pete Kim,
Here.
Richard Blunt,
Present.
Hugh Montgomery,
Here.
Tim Tamyor,
Here.
and Jonathan Lyons.
Here. Thank you, Ms. Mendoza.
Quorum is confirmed. Would you like me to call on non-voting members?
Yes.
Okay. Tom Bushatsky,
Colin Wogenstall in place of Tom Bushatsky.
thank you. Ray DeCiccio, Gail Griffin,
Present.
thank you. Sina Kerr, Lauren Kuby, Karen Peters, Robin Said, TJ Show.
Present.
Thank you. Stephanie Stahl Hamilton.
Present.
Thank you. And Sandra Watson. Roll call is complete, Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Mendoza. I apologize for my technical difficulties. I had 15 error messages pop up. I'm gonna ask Joe and Chelsea for a recap of the, or a general summary of the executive session, and then we'll have any additional discussion if needed.
Joe, I'll defer to you on who you'd like to give that recap.
But you go ahead. I can fill in if you need.
Okay, excellent. So in executive session, the board discussed and received an update from Long-Term Water Augmentation Committee Chairman Ted Cook regarding the questions that had been received relevant to the solicitation for procurement. Those questions were in regards to expanding the potentially expanding the qualifications, minimum qualifications for proposers under the solicitation. Those questions were received from multiple proposers. The committee and the board were not informed as to who those proposers were. They were essentially proposed to them as anonymous questions. Because the questions related to criteria that the committee had directly discussed prior to during solicitation development, it was prudent for the committee and the board to discuss whether they wanted to recommend an amendment to the solicitation based on the questions and the feedback that they received from staff and the and consultants. Having had that discussion, I believe, Mr. Chairman, it would now be prudent for either discussion and feedback from the board or to ask for a motion to proceed as directed in executive session.
Do we have any additional discussion from the board? Going once, going twice? If not, may I ask for a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, David. Ted,
it's Ted,
yes.
Ted Cook. Mr. Chair, I recommend that the board adopt the recommendation of the committee to ask the staff to prepare and issue an amendment to the solicitation as discussed this morning in executive session.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Richard Blunt, I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any board member discussion? No further discussion. We're going to call for a vote, and because we are online, I'm going to ask for a roll call. Ms. Mendoza?
I can take that, Yolanda, if you'd like.
Yes, thank you, Chelsea.
Go ahead, Chelsea.
Okay, as a reminder, board members, this is a motion to recommend that the staff prepare an amendment as directed in executive session. Mr. Beckham,
Yes.
Mr. Cook,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Ms. Horstman, Mr. Kim,
Aye.
Mr. Lunt,
Aye.
Ms. Montgomery,
Yes.
Mr. Tomier,
Aye.
and Chairman Lyons.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, their vote was unanimous with one not voting.
Thank you very much. We will now go to, and Ted, thank you for your work as well as the committee to get us to this point. Appreciate that dedication of time. We're going to go to agenda item number 5, and with the approval of resolution 2025-044 Water Conservation Grant Fund solicitation for applications, and Lindsay will lead the discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Lindsay Jones here. So we are very excited to announce that as of late December, the governor's office has obligated an additional just over $14.6 million in ARPA funds to our Water Conservation Grant Fund program. So if we go to the next slide here. So we did prepare a resolution for the board's consideration, which would be directing staff to open up a new funding cycle to accept applications pursuant to all of our statutes and newly adopted rules under this program. While we very much appreciate the vote and confidence that this money shows coming from the governor's office, we also, as Chelsea noted in her director's report, really want to acknowledge that this is going to require additional work, not only by staff, who's been doing an incredible amount of work already to facilitate the $200 million that have already been awarded, but also by the committee and the board to evaluate and award these funds with the aggressive timeframes that the ARPA funds are going to impose on these, as well as all of our water providers who really will have to be ready to go with some additional applications and projects that can be completed in these timeframes. So while we're very excited, we're excited to facilitate more funding going for water conservation. We are also very excited that the governor's office has allowed for some added flexibility for us to use some of these funds for administrative costs. So we are looking today to have the board approve this resolution. It would be directing staff, as I noted, to open what we are intending to be one application cycle. As long as we have enough demand within that cycle, we would just do one cycle, bring you all the applications, and then have this additional funds awarded. Additionally, it would authorize staff to use no more than 3.5% of the obligated $14.6 million for administrative costs. So happy to take any questions or open it up for board comments. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have any questions for Lindsay? Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, this is Richard Lunt. I would move that we had for the board to approve resolution 2025-044 commencement of water conservation grant fund funding cycle.
Do we have a second?
Mr. Chair, this is Tim. I'll second.
I think we have a motion and a second. Let's do a roll call again, Chelsea.
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. We'll start with Mr. Beckham.
Aye.
Mr. Cook,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Ms. Horstman, Mr. Kim,
Aye.
Mr. Lunt,
Aye.
Ms. Montgomery,
Aye.
Mr. Tomier,
Aye.
and Mr. Lyons.
Aye.
8 yes, 1 not voting.
Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Lindsay. We're going to go to agenda item number 6, call to the public. Do we have any requests to speak?
We do not, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Is there anybody online that wishes to speak? I don't see any hands raised. Let's go to agenda item number 7. It's the opportunity for members to identify any topics they would like to be placed on the agenda at a future meeting. And Chelsea will lead the discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as usual, members, this is an opportunity for you to bring up anything that we may have discussed in the board meeting that you'd like to see on a future agenda. I will just note some additional context on the Water Conservation Grant Fund. As Lindsay said, we're extremely grateful for the vote of confidence, and I think that shows from the governor's office. Our timeline on that is slightly, well, not slightly, it is significantly more compressed than it was the first time around because this money will not be getting out the door until later this year. Our grant recipients will have a significantly shorter time frame with which to spend that money. As a result, our goal is to get that application open and ready for potential recipients as soon as possible. So I would not expect to see grant projects at the February meeting, but definitely we're hoping at the April meeting at the very latest, having those on your agenda. So just be prepared for that. We have spoken with Chairman Schoeneck of the Water Conservation Grant Fund Committee as well, and she is definitely ready to hit the ground running as we get those new applications. Other than that, I don't have anything else to flag for you, but I'm open to anything that we'd like to see on future agendas.
Do we have any suggestions or petitions from the board for future items on the agenda? All right, next meeting, Chelsea.
Next meeting, and Garrett, if you go to the next slide, is scheduled for February 19th. Again, here in our new offices, in person, in our new facilities with all of our new technology. So looking forward to seeing you all at that point.
Thank you very much, Chelsea. I'd like to thank everybody for taking time out of their schedule to be here with us today to get this adopted and move forward. The time now is 11:35 and we will adjourn the meeting.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks, everybody.